I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Lobito! You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Alright, this is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the Boxing Debate Arena. We've got a great show today, people. I really want to talk about this. First off, let's give a shout out to people in the chat. This is B28, Jimmy D, Giles, and Iceman. First ones to be on here. Oh, Jay Perez. Ugas is now super champion. What a joke. Yeah, I also heard something happening with the WBA title in the heavyweight division. I don't even know what the hell's going on. But anyways, that's why, like Mr. BDA says, don't follow those belts. Don't follow those belts. You're gonna get all confused. All right. People on Discord couldn't hear me. Well, we already have Mr. BDA and Gonzalo. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hello, King Bucho.
What's
Gonzalo.
up? How's
How's it going? BDA,
Good, man.
What's up, man? We're gonna talk about Ryan Garcia and his Gatorade sponsorship. Now, D. Jefferson made an interesting video talking about whether or not Ryan Garcia deserves this sponsorship. I don't know. It's my. I mean, I think that a lot of boxers don't really get a lot of sponsorships. I mean, I remember Canelo had that Under Armour sponsorship at some point. I read that Spence also had that. But yeah, the boxers, they don't really get sponsorship. And I guess I understand why. Boxing is not as big as it used to be. That's the first thing. Second of all, a lot of boxers, they don't really live I don't know, Mr. BDA, if you have the right words here.
A pristine lifestyle, if you will.
Exactly. It's a lot of sponsors. I mean, Tiger Woods, just because he was cheating, just because of that, a lot of sponsors like stopped working with the guy. So, could you imagine Tank Davis after he chokes a bitch? What's that gonna cost?
Hey,
you know
but
what I mean?
it's
Yeah.
no, but it's interesting that in boxing you don't get a lot of guys getting major sponsorships. I mean, this Gatorade thing, it's a major one. Under Armour, I'm not sure how big they are.
They're not doing
You would
yeah.
you would expect sports brands to sponsor certain fighters, but boxing has never really been that attractive to sponsors, man. They look at boxing as a subhuman sport at worst, or at best, I should say. At worst, they look at it as just something that is not completely unworthy of respect when it comes to sponsorships, and that the same goes for in TV. Remember when in 2004 they had they were going to do the Contender Series, and then Fox Sports jumped on the bandwagon first, and they did the crappiest version of the Contender they could. Even then, like these networks didn't want to touch boxing, the major networks, because they considered boxing low, not just in the totem pole of decency, but in terms of money to be made. Remember, these guys, they want to make money. They want to make money. So they went after this new guy, right? And, you know, people like to say that, oh, BDA is a Ryan Garcia hater, because I made that video in one of the last videos I made about Ryan Garcia prior to the Campbell fight. Actually, the only video I made about the Campbell fight, I was making fun of his lifestyle a little bit. But look, we're living in the era now where these guys, it's social media. These guys get famous on that, and of course, the major sponsors are gonna gravitate towards that. That's the United States. You don't get a sponsorship because you're good at what you do. It's because it's not only whether you're good, but what do you have to offer outside the ring. And unfortunately, that's the case in the United States. It's not about professional merit. It's about, could be that plus the outside of the ring hijinks that you're up to.
I mean, to think that Mayweather was popular because of what he was doing inside the ring, I mean, that's just delusional. He was boring inside the ring. His legacy is tainted with a lot of the things he did. So, you know, it's not about how popular you are. It's about what you do inside the ring and how if you can get a crowd, basically, if you can attract a crowd. Ryan Garcia, apparently, he can. He has a lot of social media followers, a lot of women that follow him, homosexuals. And that's proven. I mean, just go on his Instagram and read the comment section. You'll see who's following the guy. He stepped it up against Luke Campbell, so you gotta give him credit for that. He's going in the right direction. We gotta admit that. So I don't I mean, there is a reason why Gatorade chose that guy.
Yeah, Mr. BDA, if you're hating on Ryan Garcia, you can drink some Haterade now.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, you know, the Gatorade fits in right with the Garcia logo. Doesn't the Gatorade have a thunderbolt in the center? And he's the Flash, right? So that got the thunderbolt too. You know, he's fast, he's quick, as lightning. So the Gatorade got the thunderbolt, and Gatorade, it's got the word "gay" inscribed in it too. So you know,
yeah,
it caters to the gay crowd. Gatorade.
Oh, come on, man, Gonzalo.
No, it makes sense
kidding,
though.
But,
we have to look into it.
Hey, but you know what?
Does he deserve it? I mean, not everybody is born good looking. I mean, that's just a gift from God, I guess. Even your own brother cannot be as good looking as you. So, I mean, he's got a lot of following, and obviously he's the poster boy. He doesn't have a lot of tattoos either. I know tattoos are accepted in the United States and in many places, but that kind of goes with the good boy image, and it's good for Gatorade because they're going to sell a lot, obviously, and it's good for Ryan Garcia and the sport too.
Hey, let me ask you, Gonzalo, between you and your brother, who's the good-looking one?
I am, because I'm like he's fatter.
Oh man! Hey, by the way, what would Canelo Alvarez's sponsorship be? Like the major one, like some sort of creatine or some sort of muscle growth, one of those muscle growth powders, right?
How about cinnamon powder?
Hey, did Triple G deserve a sponsorship?
The Canelo sticks, the cinnamon sticks.
That's right. Yeah.
For their chocolate.
I'm changing the subject here, but like, by the way, guys, the phone lines are open. Oh, we have a phone call already. Let me just make sure he's not muted because I keep making that stupid mistake. Let's take a phone call. 773, you're on the air. 773.
Oh, my favorite panelist. What's up, boys? How y'all doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. What's on your mind?
I gotta ask, when are we making that debate, me versus Stu? What's it called? Kumite?
Yeah, the Kumite. Yeah, we gotta set that up because we have other matches, and I want them to happen at the same time, the same day. So we really gotta coordinate. But I'll let you know.
Yes, we do. The only time Stu beats me is in the chat when he times me out with his wrench. His powerful wrench.
Hey, Kevin, let me ask you something. We're on the subject of Ryan Garcia. We're on the subject of Ryan Garcia just got a sponsorship from Gatorade, which is pretty major. What's your opinion on this? I mean, is he headed to be one of the biggest stars in boxing, and is that a good thing to have him as one of the representatives of boxing?
Gatorade's looking ahead. They see this dude's got all this social media following, coming off a big win. They're thinking ahead. Let's get him now before he becomes a big-time superstar, and we don't have to pay him multi-millions. Now it's just a couple million. How much is it? Do you know what the contract situation looks like?
No, not yet. Let me check.
I'm guessing they got a decent price on him. I don't think they're going to be paying him like freaking $15 million, some ridiculous amount. So I'm thinking they got a decent price on him now while he's not a superstar. So they saw this little dude. He's got a bunch of social media followers. He's a little twink. He's a little Mexican twink. So they're like, perfect. That's what we want.
But so, Kevin, does he deserve it?
See, this is the problem when it comes with deserve. When it comes to marketing sponsorships, they said the same thing with Serena Williams. They said, well, she's the best. She's the best tennis player. She should be getting all these endorsements and this and that, and all these other girls, these Servikova and all these other Russian girls. Why are they getting such big-time sponsorship deals? Why? Because Serena Williams looks like a man. She looks like a transgender. And all these Russian chicks are freaking smoke shows. That's why they're getting this endorsement. So this, when it comes to endorsements and fairness, it's never going to be fair. It's not like freaking meritocracy based. It's people putting their money on the line. A company, they got nothing to do with boxing. It's not like it's a freaking a sport or something. It's just endorsement. So fairness is really irrelevant. I mean, sure, there's better boxers out there that probably have better resumes and this and that, but are they going to promote the company? Are they big influencers, have a bunch of social media followers like the twink Garcia does? No.
Right.
And I know, you already know what it's going to come down to. You already know certain people are going to say, oh, this is example of discrimination, and this is exactly what we were talking about. The cards are stacked against us. It's not Ryan Garcia's fault that she looked like a bag of shit. It's really comes down.
All right. Well, listen. When it comes to
too harsh?
when it comes to the Williams sisters, like I think because I don't follow tennis and I never have. So, but from what I understand, they were the best in their platform. But also, tennis is a high. It's considered a high social sport. In other words, whereas boxing, most people think that it's a bunch of thugs and that if you go into the gym, there's a bunch of gangsters there willing to extort these fighters out of all their money. That's not for nothing, but that's from some of the casuals that I've talked to. Maybe not as much anymore, but 20 years ago, 15 years ago, they think boxing is a lowly sport. Tennis, on the other hand, you look at the crowd there, it's a different crowd. So they could definitely manufacture a product or a campaign around the Williams sisters. Same thing with Tiger Woods. I mean, this guy was making most of his money on endorsements and not on actual golfing. So they'll go after these sports that are marketable. But boxing, they like I said, they have a bad image of everybody in boxing, whether they're white, whether they're black, whether they're Latino, Chinese, whatever. It's just not seen as a marketable sport.
Yeah, boxing's still like that. I mean, these boxers aren't choir boys. There's a select few, but there's still a lot of rough around the edges type of boxers, and you're not going to get away from that in a sport like boxing. So it makes sense that they're not going to get these high-profile sponsors. But maybe someone like Ryan Garcia, the pretty boy, choir boy type, maybe he can come and change that. Maybe he can change the narrative, change the stereotype of the boxer. But people, when it comes to Ryan Garcia, I'm not going to hate on him. Now, the problem I have is when it starts to affect the sport of boxing. When it comes to the marketability, he brings in a lot of fans and this and that, so that's why he's getting the title shot. That's when I have a problem. When it comes to endorsements and things like that, that's outside of the sport. So I've got no problem with it. What's your final thoughts?
Hey, but if he shows on TV like promoting Gatorade, he's getting exposure. Maybe some people are gonna start, asking themselves, "Who is this guy?" Maybe I'm gonna check it out. So that might help the sport of boxing. He might start bringing new fans.
Yeah, I know they did Wheaties. I mean, what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Wheaties when it comes to the UFC. They put Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis, he's a similar, I don't know, I think he's Puerto Rican, Mexican, something like that. And he was the champion at the time, and he's a good-looking dude. So they put him on the Wheaties, the first thing. So it's obviously that's what it has to do with. You can't be some freaking ogre-looking dude and get these major sponsorships when you want to be the face of a company like that. So
yeah, good
I
point.
definitely think it might help boxing get the right look, get the right guy to promote it. And Ryan Garcia, in this day and age, he's doing all the right things when it comes to the social media and stuff to bring in all the younger audience. That's the key demographic they want to bring in. They want to bring in the younger audience to build the future for the future. But I'll leave you guys to it. Take it easy.
All right, thanks for calling, Kevin.
Hey,
Right.
Bucho,
Yeah.
the fans will only come when Ryan Garcia fights. It's like, Manny Pacquiao, he sells he used to over like 1 million. The fans didn't always show up for other occasions. It's just for Manny. Because I think, fans have a short attention span, especially with like boxing. If you're not really into it, you're not going to be devoted to watching every fight. So I think they will come with Ryan. And I think Ryan, within like 2-3 fights, if he keeps also being exciting inside of the ring, he'll really, really blow up. Like a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah, he has to keep winning, though.
You got to keep it right in the ring, though. He got to keep winning sensationally.
Yeah, exactly. And also, he has power. So that's also something that attracts fans. The fact that you never know. I mean, his power can bail him out. So it's always there's suspense in his fights, basically. But I want to thank High and Low Sports Centrum. Thank you for your contribution. He says Garcia deserves the sponsors for his followers. In boxing, still nothing deserved. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you to High and Sports Centrum for his High and Low Sports Center for his contribution. He makes a good point, by the way, and I want to get back to that. But I also wanted, because we're talking about what does this mean for the sport, and like Kevin said, more new fans. But then again, more new fans is not necessarily a good thing. So we're gonna get to that. But I also I see we got Mark from Unrival Boxing Talk. Mark, thank you for being on, man. I wanted to ask you a question because you follow a lot of boxing as well. Historically, what are some of the condition and qualities that makes a boxer go mainstream? Like, with Sugar Leonard, De La Hoya, we're talking post 80s or post 70s, because obviously before that most guys were mainstream. But what are some of the qualities that make a boxer go mainstream / viral?
Appealing to the female audience. Straight up. Women buy more things than men do.
Especially now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, big time. Like, back then, Ray Leonard had a massive female fan base. Oscar, he had a massive female fan base. That's why they went mainstream. Like, when people want to follow the Mayweather effect, you need to remember Mayweather was only popular because everybody hated him, which is kind of a contradiction of terms, but it's the truth. That's why he sold. But when you look at guys like Oscar, women were like, oh my God, Oscar, oh geez. And, man, that's all it is. That's if you sell to women, you sell. Anthony Joshua has a massive female audience. Canelo has a female audience in Mexico and shit. He looks like a soap star. He looks like he should be like Young and the Restless, bro.
Yeah, you're right.
It's true, man.
Yeah, and it was something about Floyd. I think he was an anomaly. And that's why it's going to be very difficult for somebody to recreate what he did, the type of fame that he attracted, that he generated, with being boring inside the ring. He was playing it, man. He was playing this act that he's invincible, and also he had the Pacquiao factor. Everybody was waiting for him to fight Pacquiao, and so that's why you look at after he fought Pacquiao, nobody wanted to see his fight against Berto. So what does that tell you?
No,
he was it was symbiotic relationship with fucking Pacquiao, man. That's also one of the reasons why he was so popular.
Also, nobody thought he could lose to Berto. That's the other thing.
Right, nobody. But also, it was his farewell fight. I would expect like more people to show up for like seeing this legendary fighter like finally, retire, and nobody was watching. Nobody cared.
He paid to watch him lose, bro.
No, but even then, against Robert Guerrero, a lot of people watched. Supposedly, it was like he did like 800,000 pay-per-view buys. Now, are you telling me people expected Robert Guerrero to actually do something?
I've seen a lot of Mexicans back their fighter because they think they can win.
Oh, come on. Mexicans weren't supporting Guerrero, man. Nah, man. No fucking way. He fought Victor Ortiz.
Oh, so it was Floyd Mayweather's fans who bought that fight?
No, it was just boxing. It was the fact that he was eventually going to fight. People always thought that, okay, this is the last fight before the Pacquiao fight. This is the last one before the Pacquiao fight. People kept watching and watching. And
why did like 1.4 million people buy him versus Miguel Cotto? Because the Puerto Ricans thought Miguel Cotto could beat.
Right. I'm not denying that the fight. That's why he was fighting Latinos as well. But some people want to make the argument that Floyd was popular because he was people wanted to see his skills in the ring and all that crap. That's bullshit. Because again, when he fought Berto in his last fight, nobody was there to give him a farewell.
I'll tell you this. The only reason I ever paid for a Floyd fight ever was because I wanted to see if he'd lose.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man.
Only reason. I didn't go there I didn't pay money to see Floyd go on the back foot, pop a shoulder roll, and hit a jab. I can see that in all of his highlights.
You know what? It's interesting because with Floyd, guys, we're talking about what made this guy famous. It's not just one thing, you can have one thing that's more significant than one factor that's more significant than the others. But one thing I do want to say about Floyd Mayweather is, look, I was following his career for a long time before he even became mainstream. And I remember I would talk to people and I would say, hey, by the way, you get like these were basketball fans and fans of other sports, and I would ask them, you know who Floyd Mayweather is? You ever heard of him? They go, no, who is that? And I remember when he fought Victoriano Sosa, I think it was in Miami or something. I think they had to paper the house, and even then they had like 3,000 people in a venue that could hold more. Then he hired a some sort of marketing firm or something to really push him, and it wasn't working out. Then when he fought Gatti, he did his first pay-per-view and he did decent numbers. I believe it was $500,000. Again, with that Gatti factor in there, it was, things were starting to come together. And then he kicked the crap out of Gatti. His profile started moving up a little bit. It's finally when he fought De La Hoya. That's when he became mainstream. And like you said, Bucha, you said, well, it's because some people didn't want to see his skills. I think in some form or another, the casual fans also got suckered into, because they would hear all these stories about, oh, this guy's undefeated, this guy's untouchable, this guy's invisible. Yes. And they assumed, oh, it's going to be entertaining to watch him fight. But subsequently, you saw that whenever he fought somebody that was subpar, the numbers didn't really reflect that. I mean, they even say that the Victor Ortiz, they said that it made 1 mil or 1.2, but apparently those numbers were disputed. There was some shenanigans going on with the numbers. But the point is, with Mayweather, again, it was an anomaly. It was a lot of factors. And I do agree that one of them was people wanted to see him lose because the guy was just unlikable. Every time before the fight, he would talk a major smack. Afterwards, he would be respectful, but man, the smack talking really did. I think he did get under people's.
Do you remember the face-off between him and Cotto, right? Where they're doing the thing with Max Kellerman, yeah? And he gets the phone and he's like, "I'm looking at my money, bro." At that moment, I wanted to stab him in the throat.
Well, yeah.
Well, metaphorically speaking, he wanted to do that. But
they put the Guerrero fight. They put it on the theater. I remember watching that at the movies. And, Mayweather, he didn't get the gold medal. Oscar De La Hoya did. I think he used to hate on him for a long time. And finally, when he beat him, he must have thought, I'm like Oscar De La Hoya because he didn't gain that success like Oscar did when he gained that gold medal when he was straight out of the Olympics. But he had a compelling factor, too, De La Hoya, that his mother had died. Not only with the women, I mean, people saw him as like, wow, man, this guy's mom died, and then he became a world champion, and it just made you pay more attention to him.
Right. You know which guy rubbed me the wrong way because he was getting opportunities he didn't deserve, and this is a case that is valid, and let me tell you why. Julio Chavez Jr. Because, okay, there was a point where he was getting some decent wins. Like, remember, he did beat Andy Lee and he butchered Peter Manfredo, and he beat Marco Antonio Rubio. But there were a lot of asterisks around those wins. First of all, the amount of times he got bailed out for not making weight, the amount of times he got bailed out for testing positive for something, the amount of times he had to get bailed out by the judges. Remember when he fought that guy? I always forget the guy's name, but he was a Midwestern guy, and he had to fight him twice because in the first
Matt
fight,
Vanda.
Matt Vanda, yes, I think, it was Matt Vanda. That fight, and I remember when he started winning, and I still was unconvinced because when he fought Zvik, or what was the guy's name, some German dude, when he won his first title,
Arthur Civic. Arthur Civic.
I forget the guy's name, but it was some German dude, and he looked. I mean, he beat the guy, but he had to struggle, and it was a decision against a smaller guy. And I remember thinking, this guy is not. They were making him out to be as if he was this big, the big star, the next Mexican star, and the Mexicans were eating it up, man, because they were being sold that, and they were seeing him win, so they assumed, okay, this guy's good. But little by little, beneath the veneer, you could see that he was crackling, and so that's one of those where I said, you know what, I don't think this guy is gonna make it. And then, of course, as soon as he got that Martinez loss, which the only saving grace was that he almost got him out of there, he just fell apart. And so that's the great thing about boxing, though, is you can only prop up a guy for so long. It's like an investment bubble or something. Eventually, it's going to burst because it's manufactured, it's artificial. And it's the same thing with this fight. Boxing eventually exposes everybody. And so we're going to see if that happens.
The Brian Barrow also went down the same way, BDA. With him.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, going back to Ryan Garcia, Unravel Boxing sent me a list, website that shows the top 15 most influential Gatorade sponsored athletes on social. Okay, what the hell is that? So let me put it on the screen so you guys can see it. Give me just 2 seconds. Yeah, Pirsky is the only boxer on the list. Well, actually, he's not on the list.
There's a reason I sent it, though, because if you look at certain people who are sponsored by Gatorade, Ryan smashes them in media following. Smashes them. Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, he'd be like top 7 or 8. And that's a good move on their part. And it gets them into the boxing field, too. So, one, it appeals to the more violent fight fans like ourselves, right, the degenerates, even though there's a lot of us who hate him, but also they know that there's a massive women audience. And Instagram is brilliant for that type of stuff. For example, think of all of the women who are... Bucho, you follow Instagram like I do. You see the women with their Bang energy drinks and everything. And the sponsorship and all the sponsored videos and stuff like that. Gatorade is doing the same thing because this is one of the best ways to do ads. And then having an athlete that you sponsor, you can get free ads.
Bucho's showing us the list. It's all guys from other sports. There's only one boxer. Like I was saying in the beginning of the show, I was explaining my point of view of why people they're not attracted to boxing. These sponsor companies. Why do you guys think that some of these major sponsorships never actually go to boxers?
Violence.
I agree, man. I agree, and I know some people are gonna say, "Well, what about Mike Tyson?" Again, my opinion, I think when a guy becomes so popular and so enthralling to watch,
Jesus,
they what?
He was more famous than Jesus at one point, dude.
Did he actually say that, or was that the Beatles?
They may have been too, but look, at the end of the day, how many Christians are there on the planet? 1.4 billion or some shit like that. 1.3, maybe, if you're lucky.
That's right.
Somewhere around there, yeah. Mike Tyson's name during the top of the 90s probably would have been known by at least 2.5 billion people on the planet.
Damn, see, but that's the thing. And then his reputation took a hit when he started, especially in the mid to late 90s when he was acting like a maniac. And then he sort of fell off the radar a little bit when he went on a binge and rehab and all that. And finally, he made a resurgence in, I believe it was 2008, 2009, when he started doing the Spike Lee documentary and the tours. And then his image surprisingly became of a lovable brute, because prior to that, everybody hated him and nobody really expected. Once he retired, I remember in 2005, he had the last fight. People were saying, "Hey, what's the over-under on his death? Like, is he going to make it past another 5 years, or is he going to..." Nobody, including myself, if you would have asked me, "You think he's going to make it to 2010?" I was like, unfortunately, I don't think so. But kudos to him. He turned his life around, and now people love him. But when he was talking about eating children and killing people and having that whole rape case, I mean, no sponsorship was going to touch him then.
Right.
He was doing drugs for a long time too. I think that the sponsorship helps a guy like Ryan Garcia stay on the straight and narrow. Because you'll be kind of afraid to lose a sponsorship if you do something or even make an outrageous comment. It's got to keep you in line, I believe. That's a good thing.
Hey, listen, if he's bringing, is he okay? This is a question though. Is he helping the sport of boxing? Is he helping it? Is he helping it grow? Yes or no? Ryan Garcia, is he? What do you guys think?
Yeah, because the kids will watch. A lot of the if you're a child and you're watching a guy like Ryan Garcia, I mean, that got to leave an impression, and boxers will come out of this. People will take their children to the gym based off of this. So yes, he's helping grow the sport.
That's a good point.
I would say quite probably. At the end of the day, if he's getting a Gatorade commercial, Gatorade's one of the biggest drinks on the planet. You know what I mean? We have that shit over here in Ireland, for crying out loud. We don't have anything here. So like, we don't, mate. We have potatoes and we have scrambled egg and Gatorade. Pretty much all we've got.
Like the three things.
Yeah, we used to get Powerade in the military. I like Powerade better. He could lose his sponsorship if he gets caught like with the Powerade bottle by a paparazzi and shit like that. So he got with dumb shit like that.
Look, Powerade's better than Gatorade, right? Let's be real. But at the same point, Gatorade's a massive, massive company, especially for like these sports energy drinks and stuff like that. Like our national team were sponsored by Gatorade for 3 years in a row.
Damn, that's big. Yeah, that's big, man. I mean, I remember. Gatorade. There's a whole. Go ahead, Butch.
No, I'm just going back to because now we're again stuck on Gatorade, man. Like my point is, because I was trying to make a point that if he's actually helping the sport of boxing grow, then then maybe he does deserve whatever money he gets out of the sponsorship. Why do I fucking care, right?
He's growing himself, right? Let's be real. He's growing himself. He's in the Ryan Garcia business. But whatever type of fanfare we can take from this crap, fantastic. But we also need to keep in mind that this sport is changing. It is changing. And the newer shape of fans, they're not going to recognize what it is that makes boxing what boxing is. And they're going to be looking for the celebrity fights, the fan features, the biggest fights, like the Ryans versus the Tanks and all this, and the names that they know, rather than the actual boxers that matter. But maybe a few stragglers will become hardcore fans.
Yeah, that's the thing. Can I say that? Yeah, because people always talk about, well, more fans is good, but there's a lot of bad too, because already we're experienced boxing fans, and we've already gone through the whole gamut of mistakes that the casual boxing fan makes and all that. And we're still learning, obviously, we're not know-it-alls. But then you have the new fans that are arrogant. You know, a new sport that becomes big or a sport that becomes big again, whatever, always attracts this type of people. And it's hard enough already sometimes dealing in the message boards, in the comment sections, and in our own channels with people that think they know it all, and you can just tell right off the bat they don't know what they're talking about. So there's going to be a lot of bad. An example of that would be MMA, because it started becoming more popular in 2002, but it really did hit a stride in 2005, 2006. I remember going to Sherdog back in those days, and you could start seeing a change in the quality of the discussion, to the point where a lot of newbies were coming in and they were just shit talking, and to the point that they're still there now, but they're becoming, most of them are becoming a little bit more educated. But you're always like Unrivaled said, you're gonna get a gang of scragglers every once in a while, and that's gonna hurt the quality of the discussion. And that's up to us to just filter out some of these.
Yeah, but
undesirables.
it's a price to pay for the sport to grow. No, I don't really give a fuck. Yeah.
Go ahead, Peter. Sorry.
No, that's just what I'm saying. It's a price to pay. I mean, I don't. Fine, I'll take it as long as the sport keeps growing, and whatever. We'll deal with these little fuckers, man. Go ahead, Mark.
Where we at, guys?
Hold on, then. Let me make my point. Well, how many hardcore fans would you say there is, realistically?
Like a percentage?
50,000.
50,000
hardcore.
I no idea.
50,000, 100,000. If we're being nice.
Well, let's put it in perspective. Like, for example, ESPN, I think one of the biggest ratings was for boxing. Wasn't it the Lomachenko-Lopez fight?
Yeah, but how many of that was casuals?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm trying to ballpark it here and eyeball it and say, well, listen, here on the YouTube community, I'm looking at it as some sort of guy that's in marketing or whatever. Here in the YouTube community, the community was a buzz when that fight was going to happen, and so let's say quarter of those 3 mil were hardcores. So what's that? What's going that? What's a quarter of?
750,000.
Yeah,
That seems way too high.
you think so? Okay, well, I'm not gonna.
The only reason I say that is if you go across all of YouTube and everything, and all of the boxing opinion channels, there isn't one single outside of Dante's Boxing Nation and Boxing Ego, right? Literally nobody has over 100,000 subscribers.
That's a good point. Yeah.
There's two, and that's pure boxing opinion. And they go out and they do it specifically. Dante's done a lot of interviews and stuff and gained all of this. The people who go out and do interviews and everything, none of them have cracked 1 million. Ellie's been on this ship for over like 14 years and still hasn't cracked 1 million. And he's interviewed some of the biggest names in our sport, right? So the idea to me that it can't be like that. I'd say at a push, genuine hardcore, day in, day out, real degenerate boxing fans, at most about 100,000, right? At most about.
Yeah, you're right. Kind of makes sense.
If you really take that idea, that doesn't fund this sport. So we need all of these casuals, these idiots or whatever who are like, yo, Gervonta Davis would knock out Floyd Mayweather in 22 seconds or some stupid shit like that, 145 pounds or whatever, or Shane Mosley was not that good of a fighter. Do you get where we need those to buy the damn sport? Because let's be real, you take that 100,000 of those hardcore boxing fans. How many of them come up to you asking you for an illegal fucking streaming link on a weekly basis to watch boxing?
Yeah,
exactly. Maybe 90% of them.
And you know what? So the argument is the more casual boxing fans, it could move the needle more, increase maybe the pay or the quality of the fights, and therefore the fans are going to push for better fights, and these better fights are going to get made.
Also, how do you become a hardcore fan? You got to go through the process. You got to first be a casual. And then if you want to take it to the next level to become a hardcore fan, then you can. But you gotta go through. You gotta be a casual first. So we need a lot of casuals, and then hope that some of them will become hardcore. But let's get D in here. D, what's up, man? What's on your mind?
What's up, BDA? What's up, Bucho? Mark,
how you doing,
and Gonzalo. I got kind of a different perspective. I think that we need to denounce this type of shit because the more of it we accept, the more of it we get. We're going to look up and there's 15, 16 fights a year like this. And if that's the only thing that's going to make money, you know what I mean? Then that's the direction they're going to keep going to, more and more and more and more. And if we fucking support and validate this shit and make them think it's okay for them to keep giving it to us, then they're going to keep giving it to us, man. So that's just my perspective. I mean, I get what you guys are saying too. We do need more eyes on the sport, but there's different ways to get eyes, and I don't necessarily agree with all of this foolery, man. I don't know.
All right,
that's just how I see it.
TX Bulldog Boxing, thank you for your contribution. He says more fans is cool, but we can't water down the sport.
Exactly.
I mean, I get what you're saying, D. And I would like other boxers to actually have sponsorships as well, because they've put in the work and they're world champions. They've been world champions for a long time, but there's a reason why they're not popular sometimes. You know, maybe they're not fighting the best. Maybe they're not exciting inside the ring. For some reason, Ryan Garcia is attracting all these people, and you know he fought Luke Campbell. So at least he's going in the right direction. Now, whether he'll continue on doing that in the future, we'll have to wait and see. But, you know, it's supply and demand, basically. There is demand for Ryan Garcia, so he's going to get the sponsorship. Name me another, let's take Spence, for example. I know you mentioned Spence in your video, D. Spence hasn't fought Crawford. What has he actually done to deserve a big sponsorship?
Well, I don't know if you watched the whole video through, or you misunderstood why I had Spence up there.
Well, what was it?
I said Spence was my guy, but I said these are the type of in America, These are the type of guys that are celebrated the most. When we have guys in America that are accomplishing more and doing more, that those guys should be the star. Those four guys that you seen on my video, Deontay Wilder, Errol Spence, Tank Davis, and Ryan Garcia, these are the guys that are being celebrated as the pinnacle of American boxing, and they're not doing the most. They're not the guys accomplishing the most. So I think maybe you misunderstood what my
Yeah, I
angle was with having
misunderstood.
Spence up there.
Yeah, because you mentioned Wilder, he had 10 title defenses or something. So I don't know where you were. I thought you were.
Yeah, well, see, that's the thing. This is what they praise him. He had these 10 title defenses. Okay, what else did he do? Like, he never unified a title. The 10 title defenses was against who, actually? And then now he's the biggest guy. He's the pinnacle of our sport. And if we keep praising these guys in America that's doing the least, right? And we keep putting these guys up as the big names, and everybody's clamoring on and searching them and talking about them, that's where the marketers are going to go. And the guys that are really, accomplishing, like what happens with anything that's fake? It comes to the light and people are like, oh, that was bullshit, and then they go elsewhere. But if you have a real guy, this guy is the goods. He's going to win. He's going to win. He's going to excite the crowd. He's going to do it for years. Like our guys did back in the day. They did it for years. They kept achieving because they were really good. The only thing we're doing in America is building a bunch of fucking facades, man. And when you build a bunch of facades like that, they come crumbling down. And we're doing this shit over and over again with the Tank Davises, the Wilders, the Spencers, the fucking Ryan Garcias. These guys are not doing anything. They're not. They're just a disappointment waiting to happen.
So you think Ryan is a disappointment waiting to happen?
That's I damn sure do. If we listen, what the fuck are we praising about this kid? Okay, he got past Luke Campbell. I just said this the other day. He showed heart and he showed grit. And he showed a lot of fucking flaws, fam. Like, let's be real about it. He showed heart and he showed grit. We're going to give him his credit for that. But he showed a lot of flaws. And now we get ready to celebrate him like he's the next best. You don't have any prospects that probably, in my opinion, have a higher ceiling than Ryan Garcia. Like, come on, let's be serious. And fighting Manny Pacquiao, that's just not going to help him. This kid's talking about fucking retiring at 26, going to Hollywood. Well, he's not trying to be great. But the damn excuse is, oh, Pacquiao will teach him a lot. He'll learn a lot. He ain't trying to be great, so what the fuck is he really going to learn? Like, this is just again, man, we pump up these hype jobs. We pump these fucking hype jobs up, and then when it comes crumbling down, what happens? American boxing look just as weak as it actually is.
Who should get a sponsorship?
And it's going to get weaker and weaker and weaker if we continue to do this bullshit.
Who should get a
sponsorship? He can only get better. He's 22. And the level of opposition that he's facing, what his record reflects at this point at the age of 22, is not so bad.
I think that, when you invest in something, like, for example, in the stock market, not everybody's talking about the stock market. You're hoping that the price of the stock is going to go up. Now, people are Gatorade is sponsoring Ryan Garcia, thinking that he's going to become a superstar. He's in the right direction. Now, whether or not he will make it, I have no idea. Like Dee said, he has a lot of flaws. But then again, a lot of people said that he wasn't going to beat Luke Campbell, and he did. So, also he has a lot of social media followers. So, hey, man, Gatorade think that this guy can bring some attention to their brand. Why not? I mean, what about? Who else? The question is then, who should be sponsored if not Ryan Garcia?
Well, see, this is the thing. I don't really give a shit. And I said this in the video too. All of these kids, get your money, man, because the lifespan of an athlete is not long anyway. And these blood-sucking leagues and commission, they're going to do everything they can to get their money. So I have no problem with Gatorade sponsoring Ryan. I'm just saying our media, the American media, listen, this is the guy that's being talked about the more, looked at the most. That's what marketers go for. They need to get in front of people. So this is the guy that's being talked about, looked at the most, probably searched the most. But his stardom is fugazi. If you look at the the atmosphere in boxing and how quick fans are to throw you away. It could be just a bad investment for Gatorade because they think this kid's defensive. As soon as he loses or take a bad loss, and they see the fucking fans in boxing turn on this motherfucker at the drop of a hat, then there goes all of their money down the toilet. What I was saying in my videos that they took this seriously, Wheaties and Gatorade and Energizer when they pick these athletes had accomplished things already. Even if you look at Zion Williamson, the guy that you got on here, at the collegiate level, at the high school level, he'd already accomplished great things. He has records at the collegiate level that's not rivaled by anyone but Lou Alcindor, which is the greatest collegiate player ever in fucking basketball. And this kid already has that type of shit under his belt. So that's a wise investment. But a guy who barely made it past a fucking Campbell, if Campbell had any more gusto in him, Ryan might not even have made it through that goddamn fight.
Well, that's the thing with boxing. In other sports, you can lose a game because you got teammates. But in this one, if you lose, yeah, you might lose some stock. But, he's got a lot of flaws, but he also got a lot of good things going for him. He got speed and power. How many times we see fighters that got the speed but don't have the power? And we as fans complain, oh, he can't crack an egg. But this guy, we got people that are wondering if he got that chin. If he got those three things, man, those things will take you a long way in boxing, man. A lot of people wish they had those.
I mean,
I'm
might be gambling.
Really convinced of his chin, Gonzalo. I mean, is it because you get hit by Tyson Fury? I would say he has a chin. You know why? Because he got hit by a guy like Wilder, and then he got up. Ryan Garcia got hit by Luke fucking Campbell, fam. This is no knockout puncher. So just because he got up from that hit, I ain't praising him for having no fucking chin. He didn't get up from a guy who's a knockout artist or something. If he gets up from a guy like that, yeah, that's a different story. But getting knocked down by Luke Campbell and getting out, question is, you shouldn't have got knocked down. Let's not praise him, but so much. I mean, like I said, I'll give him his credit for having heart and gusto and getting up, but it ain't like he got knocked down by Julian fucking Jackson, fam. He got knocked down by
Fury got knocked down
Campbell. Come on.
Fury got knocked down by Steve Cunningham, and I remember a lot of these LDBC fanboys were saying that he won't be able to take a Wilder punch since he got knocked down by Steve Cunningham, cruiserweight Steve Cunningham. So just because you get knocked down doesn't necessarily mean that it's a death sentence now, like for the rest of your career. I mean, who knows? Maybe you're right. Maybe not. Like again, Fury got knocked down by Steve Cunningham. Michael Poe.
Well, the main.
Can I just say quickly? Super chat. Michael Poe, thank you for your contribution. He says Manuto is Garcia going for. Okay, I don't know what that means. Manuto is Garcia is going for or someone must know what is in his head and future. Yes, he's definitely good. What is the gay community? Okay. Yo, Michael, you stop using.
I was going to say something. Man.
Yeah, thank you, Michael.
I was going to say something about the Garcia thing. Is in part it's because of his awful tendency to leave the chin up in the air. Everybody knows it. Everybody sees it. So the Reynosos really should rein him in and tell him to tuck that chin in, because if he keeps it up in the air there, he's going to end up getting bamboozled there.
Let me ask you guys a serious question.
Yeah.
Okay, because we even have some idiots out here, and I call them idiots, talking about, he could get in there and beat Manny. I don't see it no way. But do you guys, forget about Manny Pacquiao, do you guys think Ryan beats Lomachenko? Because I don't think he beats Lomachenko. Forget about Manny.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this kid beats Lomachenko.
No, I don't think he does. I really don't.
He's not going to just jump right in there because he's a pressure fighter, Lomachenko, because he's got that quick lead hand, where he strikes you out of nowhere. It's a thunderbolt of a left hook. So he's going to be wary to not get caught. Lomachenko, he's not just going to dive in there.
I don't see Ryan beating Lomachenko, Gonzalo. I hear what you're saying, but I don't see Ryan beating Lomachenko.
I wouldn't bet on Ryan, I'll tell you that. No.
Fuck no, I would.
Way too flat for that man, dude.
Yeah, I don't see him beating Loma at all.
But I tell you what, I give him more of a chance. I give Ryan Garcia more of a bigger chance of beating Teofimo than beating Lomachenko.
Yeah, I bet you would.
I do, man. But I'm not saying I would bet on him. I'm just saying he'd have a better chance.
Teofimo knocks that kid out, bro. I'm convinced of it.
I don't know, man.
And I want to see what I really want to see is Lomo and Teal rematch. I don't think he's going to fight Devin and Lomachenko again. He'll fight one or the other, and it looks like he's going to be leaning toward Devin. But I would like but I would like to see a Lomachenko rematch.
In the chat, he deleted that comment. But anyways, going back to the sponsors, Michael Poe, another comment. He says, "Meant, yes, he's good for the gay community as boxing goes." Okay, Michael, contribution. Listen, he's bringing a lot of homosexuals.
That's fucking harsh, bro. It's true.
I don't know, man. That's fucking funny as shit.
Remember what Jimmy said that supposedly he went on Twitter and he saw like photos of cock rings and all that, and he says Ryan Garcia knows where on which side of his bread is buttered, and it appears to be the backside because he knows he's got that he knows he's got that homosexual. Look, listen, the United States has a big problem. The United States has a big problem where people earn things that they don't deserve. For example, just the mere fact that sports stars get all this money. I mean, look at, rest in peace to Kobe Bryant, but the people were crying on the air because Kobe, that guy was an athlete. Like, but those are the values that the United States and other countries put on sports stars. It's insane.
Yeah.
I think that's celebrity in general. I'm not sure if it's just sports stars. I mean, you get actors and singers and shit that die and people losing their fucking minds. I think it's the celebrity.
There were people in my family bawling, crying when David Bowie died.
Yeah. It's the celebrity thing. I don't know if it's just sports. People fucking lost their mind when Michael Jackson died, and all of this. When Aaliyah, the singer Aaliyah died, girls everywhere in my city fucking crying, bawling out, staying in their room for a week and shit. Like, it's just that celebrity. People in this country put these celebrities up on a pedestal like deities or some shit like that.
I agree, man. That's why I'm saying. Like, the culture has a problem where they prop up these people, these celebrities, as gods, and that's what we're seeing here with Ryan Garcia. He's got one good opponent on his record, and these marketing companies, because that's how they operate. They go, look, this guy is marketable. According to a research department, blah, blah, blah. They look at this guy and say, yeah, we can build something around him. He's already got the base. He's already got a fan base that they're going to sell shit to. It's already established. Whereas with other fighters, like, for example, Terrence Crawford went over to the Joe Rogan podcast. Boring. In fact, his trainer's the one that did most of the talking in there because he's got no personality. So it's not just about how good you are at what you do. It's about whether they can market something around that. And unfortunately, Ryan Garcia is probably going to be him and Joshua and Canelo, but him for the Zoomers, it's going to be him who's going to be the face of boxing.
But I
very seriously
what
doubt
has
that.
Ryan Garcia done that's wrong? What has he done that's wrong?
Well, not him specifically, because I mean, like he said, make that money. It's the system. It's the system as a whole that they prop up reality stars and celebrities, and they give them all that money, and or for what? Like, what exactly are they producing? Are they inspiring people that much?
That's see, and that's part of the problem with a lot of these fans. They keep hollering, well, Ryan, did you get Ryan? It's not about Ryan, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, I made that video. I got a couple of people running up in there. Fucking idiot. Why are you hating on Ryan? Like, man, if you're just running up in here talking about I'm hating on Ryan, then you're not even listening to the fucking video. Because, just like BDA just said, or Bucho, I'm sorry. I want the kids to get their money. All of these kids. Get as much money as you can. It's a short window in athletics. It's not about them. It's about the fans, man. It's about the channels and the fans. We validating and justifying this shit. Oh, well, Manny can do what he wants. Well, don't be hating on Ryan. But this fight is not good, bro. This fight is not good for our sport. It's not.
All right. I want to take a phone call. This guy has been waiting for a while. 917. You're on the air. 917. Go ahead.
Yo, how's it going, Bucho? Hope I got it right. Happy Friday, everybody.
Yeah, where are you, man? There's a lot of noise.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm getting off the train right now. I'm sorry. Let me go somewhere more quiet. Hold on. It should be better now. But you're still gonna hear a little bit. Hope you guys don't mind.
All right, go ahead quickly because there's a little bit of noise. Go ahead.
Look, this is the name of the game. Capitalism. You put in as little effort as possible for as much money as possible. If everyone is endowed with a certain gift, certain people are athletic, certain people have the looks. And it would be a shame if Ryan Garcia didn't utilize his gift of not only athletic ability and his looks. It'd be a shame. It'd be a waste of talent if he didn't go out and get as much endorsement as he could have. You have to be an idiot not to do this. This is capitalism at its finest, and you can't really be mad at the guy for it.
All right. Listen, there's a lot of noise, but we get your point. Capitalism, supply and demand. Call back again later when there's no noise. Thanks for calling. All right. So I get the point of the caller. I mean, it is what it is.
Bujo, I wanted to like you right. So I can only relate this in football, soccer, right?
Yeah.
So you remember Man United back in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
David Beckham, Paul Scholes, and Ryan Giggs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember these guys. Which one of those guys was the most successful?
David Beckham.
Beckham, right?
Yeah.
Beckham was by far the most successful. But Paul Scholes was way much of a better player than Beckham was. Way better. It was built completely around Scholes for damn near a decade. One of the best players ever. Why wasn't Scholes successful? Because he looked ugly as shit and he was a little ginger.
I know.
But you know what? That's the thing. That's the thing. Look, like the caller said also, it's capitalism. They're the ones that prop up these people through marketing and all that. Like I was saying in the beginning, in boxing, the ring ends up exposing everybody. You can't ride the hype wave all the time because if you like the skills or the physical talent, boy, are you gonna end up getting exposed. But when it comes to hold on. But when it comes to show business and all that, it's easier to do. Now with boxing, like I said, harder to do. But they found a guy in Ryan Garcia who most of the fans hate the guy. Even like most people after the Campbell fight, when they were calling in or leaving messages in the chat room, or they were saying this guy's going to get exposed real soon. He stinks. He could barely make it past Campbell. So it's not the boxing fans that are propping him up. It's Wall Street essentially. They're seeing the potential that they can do for this guy. Yeah.
BDA, but sorry, he didn't get the Gatorade commercial to sell pay-per-views. He got the Gatorade. The Gatorade. What do you call
sponsorship?
it? Sponsorship. He got the Gatorade sponsorship to sell Gatorade. You know what I mean? Not all the boxing fans are the ones that are gonna buy the mass amount of the Gatorade. It's just gonna be a lot of people in general across all sports because he got that face. He's an ambassador for boxing.
All right, guys. I need to take there's 2 phone calls, but I'm gonna go with the one that's long distance first. So 3, 5,
long distance.
1. Yeah, you're on the air. Go ahead, and please mute your mics. Go ahead.
Hey, what's up, fellas? It's Michael Pop. What's up, Bucha?
Hey, man. What's up?
Michael. Not too much. I was just catching the show. I was just gonna say, as far as marketing these guys, I mean, they are asking for a lot of money and just doing some crazy shit, but it seems like the most talented ones get pushed back if they don't talk the right way, you do the right thing. I mean, it is boxing. I mean, it's not supposed to be pro wrestling. So,
right.
I don't know.
But I guess you're right. But sometimes they call it prize fighting. There is some show.
I don't mind you sell yourself a little bit, but when you go to the extreme, especially, I have a little bit of dislike. I'm not going to deny it for the Lopez, because Bob Arum encouraging him to talk like that. Trust me, the kid's 23. He's young, naive. If he keeps talking like that, he's going to end up having less of a fan. The Lopez family or Lopez himself, the kid, he's encouraged. Yeah, you should talk like that more. And if he keeps doing it, he might lose his fan base. And I think he doesn't even have as much of a fan base as more of people wanted to see Loma lose. I think Mark would agree with that.
I think D would disagree with you.
I think I'll disagree totally. First and
And
foremost,
I'll agree completely.
yeah, well, of course. And Mark, we can debate this, you and I. Ain't no fucking way. You make sense to me that Bob Arum is making this kid and his dad talk like that, Mark, because that's what I was about to disagree with. And I'll debate that shit. It ain't no fucking Bob Arum. Hold on. It ain't Bob Arum making that crazy ass Junior Lopez talk like that, first and foremost. Junior Lopez is Junior Lopez. Hold on. Teofimo now. With Teofimo, he's been brash like that, bro. Before he even started to get the fame, before he beat Lomachenko, way back when he was fighting Juan Pablo, he had that brash tongue. This is not something that Bob encouraged, fam. That's what I was disagreeing on.
No. I'm not saying he
That's his
made
persona.
it up.
Let Michael
He's
respond.
encouraging him to continue it. But no, the point is, it's just there's a lot of different ways to make it. You don't have to necessarily be one way. If you sell one way and you're a good fighter, that should be enough on its merit. Unfortunately, it's not. But
Yeah, I get your point.
I want to see Fury and Joshua. Hopefully, that does happen May, June.
Yeah. Well, that's another topic, but yeah. Anyways, anything else regarding Ryan Garcia and sports? Jesus Christ, I can't even say that word. Sponsorships.
But if he's got smart people around him because of his YouTube following, he could make a lot of money. But as far as boxing, I don't know what's in his heart and in his head. But to get that good, I know his defense and his chin and his feet, he needs improvement. But other than that, he's got a future. But if he takes on anybody serious that can hit, he's in trouble. So that's all I'll say about that. And I appreciate you guys letting me on. I'm going to listen to the rest of the show. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks for calling, and thank you for the super chats. Take care.
By the way,
my friends, take care.
Go ahead,
real quick. There's a lot of alliteration there with sports sponsorships. So just say money. Everyone can understand that universal language. Money.
All right.
Make no mistake. There's a lot of sponsorships for boxers. Don't they got their shorts all embroidered in many like companies that we don't even know? Like, Marcus had the Rexona. I mean, Chavez Jr. had this one called Big Bola Casino, which is not really popular, but why hate on Ryan Garcia? Because he got Gatorade.
Yeah,
which is
Gatorade.
a big company, and all of a sudden, everybody's paying attention. Holy shit, Gatorade. But how many other fighters got like many embroidered into their
but
trunks?
Gonzalo, this is a big one. I get what you mean. Though. But Mark,
it's not for the pay-per-views, really. It's for them to sell their product. And if they're going to sell it with Ryan Garcia, hey, man, more power to them, right?
Right, but I want to get Mark. Mark, go ahead. You want to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to interject. Where Michael was coming from, because he said it a few times in my own chat, was the aftermath after the fight and saying that he's not going to fight him if he didn't need the rematch, and he feels like that would be encouraged by Bob, because Teofimo seems like the type of guy who would actually take the fight, and Bob seems like the type of guy who would tell you, nah, don't do that. That's where he's coming from on that. That's why I co-signed what he said.
All right. Recognize, are you there?
Hello, gentlemen. I'm here.
Welcome to the show.
Recognize.
It's like I'm here.
How you doing?
I have arrived.
What's up, big boy?
I'm blessing you with my presence.
Your king is here. Recognize, what's your take on Ryan Garcia's Gatorade sponsorship? It's a big one. It's Gatorade. Goddamn Gatorade.
I mean, congratulations to him, right? Like, Gatorade. Yeah, that's good. Good for him. I mean, we know what it's all about. It's about, who they feel can sell their product better. And you know what? What better than a kid who's like, on the internet, a good-looking kid. He's got some power. I get it. I totally get it.
Shouldn't other boxers be getting the same type of sponsorship?
Should other?
Yeah, more well established.
I know if I own Gatorade, I would probably want a couple other guys there that could sell that I think that would sell my brand. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, they went with Ryan Garcia instead of somebody else, and there's a reason for that, right? I mean, he has a social media following.
Oh yeah,
he's not ugly.
He's not ugly.
It's about popularity. I mean, listen, We may not like
exactly, bro.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but that's it. Like,
we waiting on you.
It's not Gatorade anymore. It's Haterade.
It's Gatorade. Gatorade.
Yeah, I
don't like Gonzalo. If somebody says something, okay, so like, if somebody does anything but suck Ryan's balls for getting this contract, does that mean they're hating? Because the perspective is not, again, it's about boxing, right? Not about Ryan. If you say, hey, good for the kid to get his money, but you put up a perspective concerning boxing, why is it always stop hating on Ryan? Why you gotta hate on Ryan?
It's only a joke. It's only a joke. It's only a joke. But you know what?
Like
you know
4 or
what,
5 times. Why you gotta hate on Ryan?
Why
you gotta hate on Ryan? Okay,
hold on.
Precious Ryan.
That's a lot when people get pissed off at what other guys making. You know, the money.
I'm just wondering why you think someone's hating on the kid. Like, your Precious Ryan is safe, Gonzalo.
Remember when Snoop Dogg used to come
out? It's not gonna hurt your Precious Ryan, Gonzalo.
I'll tell you what. I think people are hating on Ryan Garcia. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people are hating on Ryan.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are hating on him, but
so what's wrong with saying that? So what's wrong with saying that?
He's a young dude. He's kind of like a goofball. He's a good-looking kid. Oh, he's got all that stuff. Like, I don't care about his endorsements. I'd say good for him, right? I say good for him that he's got his money. I'm sure they picked him for a reason. I bet you it has to do with him being young and on social media, if I had to guess.
I was also thinking recognized because he's Ryan the Flash and he got the Thunderbolt on his logo, and so does Gatorade. I wonder if they're going to change it to where it's like looking the same.
Hey, by the way, can we say, man, that Gatorade tastes like... Can we say that Gatorade tastes like piss, man? I've never drank that.
I never liked that shit either.
Yeah, man. You know what? Bucho, we can forget about Gatorade sponsoring us. But listen, the point with...
I only drank it, honestly, when I only wanted to try it because I'll see Michael Jordan just guzzling it down and it looked good when he, it's like, oh, shit.
Right.
Michael Jordan he's getting his energy back.
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to drink it because you retain a lot of fluid. And in the corner, can you even drink that? Probably not, only water.
It looked good to you to see a grown man swallow.
I remember Robbie. I remember Robbie Peden. Well, Peden was his name was. He was he was vomiting Gatorade. Remember?
No, it was water.
I know. No, it was blood.
But you know what? Listen, this problem here with Ryan Garcia is, at least in our community of YouTube boxing fans, and when I go to the message boards and the comment sections, a lot of people hate the guy. So, why would why would Wall Street go for a guy that's hated by his own sports fans? It's because they're not going for the boxing fans. They're going for the, like Unrivaled Mark said, it's all these girls and these gay guys from, well, mostly.
There you go. I didn't want to say it.
The homosexual.
I know, but it is what it is, man.
The gay guy.
Because, I mean, if you think about it,
we need to take
but look at it this way. Can I say... Real quick,
yes.
Wicho, real quick. If you look at historically, if you look at boxing, the guy that's propped up by the Wall Street and the marketers and all that, they're usually disliked by boxing fans. Sugar Ray Leonard at the time, most people were Tommy Hearns fans. They were rooting for Tommy Hearns instead of Sugar Ray Leonard. Same thing when he fought Hagler. De La Hoya, boy, oh boy, how many people were hating on De La Hoya because he was the cute A-lister. So that's what always happens with the guy that's being propped up by Wall Street.
That's why I got a lot of haters. But guys, we gotta take a phone call. We gotta take a phone call.
Right quick, one second.
Take a phone call.
The men are buying the girls.
Gotta take a phone call.
The husbands.
Jesus Christ.
The husbands are buying the paper.
I said we were gonna take a phone call before Mr. BDA started talking. 559.
Sorry about that.
559. You're on the air. 559.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, I was just having this conversation with my buddy like a month ago about Ryan Garcia, and he called me one day because he asked me for the zone fucking password, whatever, because his kid wanted to watch Ryan Garcia, and he was all ecstatic because he's like, oh shit, my kid likes boxing, he was all happy, so he was all for it. He was about to order it, but I gave him my password, and we're talking about it. He's like, right now in an era of everybody's so afraid to be racing like a little bitch. When a kid says, I want to watch his boxing fight, he got all excited. He's like, oh yeah, my kid likes boxing. And I asked him, how do you know him? He's like, well, he was with Kylie Jenner and all this shit, which kind of brought his spirits a little bit down. But at least he was getting into boxing. So he's perfect to sponsor because these kids, they don't understand. See, the whole time he kept saying, how come that guy keeps hitting his gloves? He doesn't know what pairing is, you know. They don't understand it. But they watch all these highlights. And they see Ryan Garcia knocking out people, and they're like, "Oh my God, he's amazing!" And then when they watch his fight, he's fast, you know. So you can see talent. When they try to do that with Devin Haney in the Jake Paul fight, he's so fucking boring. It kind of made every kid was just falling asleep watching that, you know. They shouldn't have put him to co-feature a Jake Paul fight because he was boring, and all the kids were just like not even paying attention to him. So, but with Ryan Garcia, you can see it. He appeals to the eye because you can see the power and the speed, and he's not a boring fighter. So he's perfect to sponsor. I don't hate on the guy.
Is he good for boxing?
Well, I mean, kinda. You know, Well, put it this way. Like I said, a lot of kids are wanting to watch his fights. But and fans are happy to do it, like, oh yeah, especially the dads, you know. Oh, yeah. But imagine when we were younger, and let's say we wanted to order something like fucking, I don't know, Power Rangers on pay-per-view, and your dad would have been like, I'm not fucking ordering that shit, you know.
Yeah.
But with boxing, I think it's a little different. So you get kids knowing boxing, and at the same time, I guarantee you now they know Gervonta Davis. You know, because he talks about him so much. They probably know Devin Haney. They know all his guys. He's not bad for boxing, but I see how he gives the wrong impression to a lot of the kids too. So I think he himself is good because he actually is appealing to watch. So it brings kids to know the sport a little better.
Right, all right, I get the point. So basically, you're saying
he's like a Backstreet Boy.
He's
right?
good for boxing. But hold on, caller. Thank you for calling. Great insight. Call back again next time. All right. Take care.
I mean, Gervonta Davis looks like a garbage pail kid. Who's gonna sponsor him?
Listen, I don't care about what Gervonta Davis looks, but you know,
if he knocks people out, let me ask
y'all this: if this was the opposite, if this was Tank Davis, now me, I would be the same. I would be putting up videos. This shit is a travesty. I would still be doing the same thing. But do you think the response would be the same if this was Tank Davis that got that?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
I think he would. Why wouldn't it be?
Why
wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't
Let
it
me
be?
respond to it.
Okay, go
It'd be
ahead.
the exact same, but it'd be a different sector of fans doing it.
Yep.
It'd be the exact same.
And the fans that's praising this shit now will be the fan. Oh, this bullshit. Yeah, it should be about boxing. It should
But
be
like the
about
only people that are praising it is probably like Ryan Garcia and Band Boys, right? Like that's about it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because listen, with Tank Davis, the guys who would be praising him would be the guys that are attracted to his. Hold on, the guys that would be attracted to his behavior. You know, the outside of the ring drama that he's involved in, criminal record and all that. So they would probably prop him up, just like the gay guys are propping. I gotta stop saying that. I gotta stop saying that it's just gay guys and criminals or whatever. But I mean, it's it's happily. And by the way, like I said before, this is all moot because it's not about the fan base that's propping him up. It's Wall Street saying, "Hey, look, these guys got mainstream fans, and they're banking on Ryan Garcia because of that, not because of the boxing fans."
Ladies and gentlemen, okay, we're gonna take another phone call. 214, you're on the air. 214.
What's up, guys?
What's up? What's on your mind?
I think it's pretty good for Ryan. You know, get his money. You know, yeah, I think it's not so bad. You know, I think it's pretty cool that someone actually got a sponsorship.
Is Ryan Garcia good for boxing? Yes or no?
Overall, I don't think I don't think so. Overall, I think he'll be good for a short while. You know, short term, but not over. You know, really get too many people interested. You know, because he is going to retire at 26.
You know, don't get fooled, caller. De La Hoya said he was going to retire by around that same age too, and he didn't. That's just
David Hay said he was going to retire at 30.
There you go.
And he was playing Belgium when he was 35 with one leg.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
They're trying to make themselves more interesting in that sense. Like, you know, look at me. I got millions of options.
Yeah, catch me now before I'm gone. You know, like that type of deal.
Exactly.
Bullshit.
Boxing is a hard sport to let go. You always want to prove something about yourself.
All right.
Especially Ryan Gonzalo when you're making money. If you're making a lot of money doing it, and all you gotta do is do what you could do best is fight. Why not?
Caller, anything else?
Yeah, man. Like Ryan, he has so many things going for him that peel outwards. You know, besides his fan base, that he got people that support him in boxing and outside of boxing. Like he's a crossover guy, and you know, he also happens to be, you know, Mexican American, so you know they're really going to support him. So you know.
Yeah, good point.
He just about everything. Huh?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So you know, he's really. If only his skills could match, you know, the hype around him, then whoa, that would be crazy.
Right. We have to see more of Ryan Garcia. But caller, thanks for calling. All right. Call back again next time.
All right. Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question to everyone on the panel? Right.
Yes, sir.
What do y'all think about not Ryan in general, but the fact that he got sponsored by Gatorade itself? Because one, it's the biggest sports energy drink in the United States. It's slightly ahead of Powerade. They're number 1 and 2. Gatorade is responsible for 52% of the entire sports market, like in terms of energy drinks in the United States. Secondly, it ships to 80 countries worldwide and distributes in 80 countries. That's massive. That's absolutely massive. They raked in over $3.3 billion last year in the US alone. A company like that sponsoring him so quickly, so easily. What do y'all think of that?
I'm not surprised, man.
Well, will other boxers try to follow in his footsteps? Because I know a lot of them tried to imitate Floyd, and that didn't work out. So maybe now they see what's happening with Ryan Garcia and the sponsorship. Maybe they'll try to imitate Ryan. What do you guys think? Social media?
Sure. Devin Haney can get a nose operation, you know, and get that Greek goddess look.
Got it. What do you mean? Got it. What the fuck is we're talking about?
He's not wrong, bro. He looks more feminine than masculine.
But you know what, though? On Rival, though, Mark made a good point, too, in the beginning of the show where he talked about the female demographic. Never underestimate the female demographic, especially now in 2021 where more women are in the workplace, therefore they have more disposable income, and they tend to gravitate, you know, if a couple of them end up gravitating towards a boxer or an MMA guy, that's a huge boost from MMA and boxing. Now, remember that Cameron's had made a good point about that years ago when he said that the Mexican women, for some reason, and I've yet to figure it out, they love the baby-faced type guy, you know, like De La Hoya. If you look at the telenovelas, if you look at them, they usually have the rugged guy. They also have the twink-looking guy, and they become famous in sex symbols, even though they're twinks. And you go, "What the fuck's going on?" So the Mexican community has a whole other hang up there about that. I don't know
here's the thing, right? If you promote a guy long enough, girls start convincing themselves that guy's attractive and he's somebody they should be interested in. So that's all these other guys got to do. Like they got to appeal to the ladies somewhat and go on Instagram and do the stupid shit that he does, and they'll be fine.
Look, bro.
But ultimately, it's the guys that end up paying the pay-per-view because the woman likes the guy, then the husband's gonna be hating. Why she like him?
No.
Ultimately,
No.
Fight, but the man's gonna pay for it.
Hey, Gonzalo, remember De La Hoya? Remember that when De La Hoya was fighting, there were groups of women in the crowd that they weren't with any men. It was just a group of women in the crowd. So I'm pretty sure they can also have like a pay-per-view party.
Don't forget, most men these days aren't playing shit anymore, bro.
Yeah.
Fat lesbian. Women have more money than men nowadays too, for the most part. OnlyFans is a huge game changer.
Yeah.
Good
That's
point.
they spending all ours up.
But
they'll spend our money and have their own and buy a lot of shit, man. Women buy shit.
Facts. They do.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, my opinion, I think, and this is gonna piss off some people. I think Ryan Garcia is good for boxing. I'm thinking ahead here. I'm thinking about the future. We need, like the caller
All these
just
guys
said.
are good for boxing.
No, some guys. What do you mean, all these guys? Some guys don't do shit.
No, this is what I mean. Listen, like Ryan Garcia, who is he without his opposition? Right? Devin Haney, Tank, and the same, vice versa. If you go the other way around, these guys are nobody. If it was just Ryan Garcia by himself, then you got Parrot Nose, Teofimo Lopez, the ugly motherfucker who can actually fight. You know what I'm saying? Ryan Garcia is nobody without these guys.
You know the crazy thing about that? These guys will probably not end up fighting each other. It'll be like a stalemate. It'll be like a stalemate.
No, it was actually funny. Big ass nose.
What will happen is the pressure that Devin Haney and Teofimo and Gervonta have, that like if this guy's popular, Ryan Garcia, they're gonna try to outdo him. Each of these guys is gonna try to one up each other. That's what's gonna happen, and that's good.
Yo, recognize. Remember the way you tried Gatorade because of Michael Jordan, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah, remember
now,
when
if Michael
in the sideline and he was just he's like.
So if Michael Jordan. Recognize, let me ask you a question. If Michael Jordan had a nose on him that looked like it was on a Snapchat filter 24/7 like Teofimo Lopez, would you have been fucking interested?
Yeah, Teofimo's nose is horrible. Ari,
Bro, that shit. Hey, his nose look like Gargamel. Remember the Spurs? Remember Gargamel?
You look like they kind of
do you remember the Goonies? Do y'all remember the?
Yeah.
Sloth?
No, not Sloth, bro, because that's Teofimo's. Teofimo's nose looks like little chunks fucking belly. I'm telling you.
Hey, by the way, I look like Teofimo Lopez, so you guys better watch it. But, you know...
well, you're able to sniff more than I can.
In the hood, we call him Bird Game.
That's unfortunate, BDA. That's unfortunate.
And I can fight like him, too.
I thought Sloth was an old Raider player, famous guy. I can't remember his name, but not Ted Cheeseman. What was his name?
Cheeseman.
No, the Sloth in the Goonies. John Matusak. That was a Sloth. John Matusak.
No, trust me. Ted Cheeseman looks way more like Sloth from the Goonies than anybody else.
Well, you know what?
Matusak was a Raider football player.
The problem here with when we're talking about new fans coming to the sport is if this makes the sport bigger, okay, then it's obviously gonna increase the income that some of these guys want. But that's one of the main problems. When we were talking about the UFC versus MMA versus boxing is in MMA, especially in the UFC, which is a company in of itself, the boss calls the shows. You fight this guy, you fight that guy. You don't like it? There's 10 other guys down the line. In boxing, when you got a guy like Mikey Garcia getting paid $7 million to fight Jesse Vargas, how much you think he's gonna want in order to jump in there with a guy that's more dangerous than Jesse Vargas? And we're already seeing that with the lightweights. Hey, more money. I want more money. It's like, man, if you're not this is what these guys have to realize, and that's what we're talking about now: popularity. This sport, unfortunately, these societies that we live in, they don't reward guys necessarily for performance. It's show business. It's a form of show business. Even boxing, that's to a certain extent. So when you got guys that say, well, I beat this guy and I beat that and I defended this title this many times, I won this time amount of money. Unfortunately, you're not going to get it. Not everybody's going to be a mainstream star. Some people are going to get stuck at that level they are now. And if you want to get paid, you just got to fight the best. That's the only thing you can do.
I think Ryan Garcia is good for boxing, and just repeating the same thing. Listen, other boxers are doing jack fucking shit. They're boring, or they don't fight the best. And I'm not saying Ryan Garcia will fight the best or has fought the best. Obviously, he's like 20-2 or something. But
I think the West Village agrees with you. Yeah, he is good for boxing.
Oh, hey, by the way, is there boxing tonight? Because Mark said I'm dropping off to do commentary. Who's fighting today?
I don't know.
Hey, let me ask y'all something. Did they elevate Ugas? Or did they just...
I think I heard they elevated him, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they did.
They call Pacquiao the WBA champion in recession. That's...
yeah. They did the same thing in the heavyweight division. Yeah, I read something.
Let me tell y'all something right fucking now. It's what I said. It's justice. It's justice. I've been bitching about this. It should have happened. It should have happened because Ugas has been fighting his ass off. He's been, motherfuckers talking about Manny ain't holding up the division. Spencer Crawford ain't even trying to fight. Spencer Crawford ain't the only fucking fighters at 147. I've been saying this shit about Ugas. I'm like, what is Ugas sitting there with the WBA regular? Oh, he just fucking, what about Ugas? It's not holding up. It's not impeding his progress. So it's justice. And D. Jefferson been saying this shit. You motherfucking people out there, man. Y'all got to think about this stuff logically, fam.
First of all, if you speak of yourself in the third person again, we're booting you out of here. That's number one. Number two, Ugas has built himself a nice little resume, man. Even before the Sean Porter fight, I remember telling people, look, it's going to be a very hard one for Sean Porter. Don't overlook Ugas. But they looked at the record. They looked at the early losses, and they said, oh, this guy, he's not that good. Who's he fighting next again? He's fighting Errol Spence, supposedly, they said.
I don't know who.
Errol Spence.
It's got to be Spencer Crawford. Listen, it's neither way. Either of those guys are going to let the other one get there first. You understand what I'm saying? So it's going to be Spencer Crawford. Bet your bottom dollar. Like if Crawford could get there first, he got it. Boom. If Spence could get there first, he got it. And it's probably going to be easier for Spence. But no way they're going to let that belt linger out there. That's the fucking leverage in their super fight, right? That's leverage right there. 3 belts. But
that's why
Crawford's going to have to take 60-40 now, fam. If Spence can go to that third belt.
That's why I always tell people, forget about the belt. Stop following the belt. Like we were saying, like, it's popular demand and all that, like capitalism. These organizations, they have power because people recognize them as if they have power. Now, of course, they're always going to exist because boxers do give them credence and they do help to a certain extent. Boxers, like, for example, like a guy like Ugas could use a belt because, very few people know who he is. So if he's got a belt, he's like, he could put on the marquee champ. But stop following this championship belts, man. It's been 20 years now or more than that.
Hello?
That they're screwing up the sport. Who said hello?
Can you hear me?
Brian.
Yeah. Hi.
Can you hear me? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. What's on your mind?
Oh, no, just, just where Ryan, he's not the first boxer to say he's going to retire early. So, I don't know if I believe that, but he will bring fans into the sport. A lot of casuals. The idea that he's getting a sponsorship deal with Gatorade, good on him. He's going to make a lot of money off that. So really can't.
About the sport, is this good for boxing? Is he good for boxing?
I don't know yet. It depends if he takes what fights he takes going forward. I don't think the Manny Pacquiao fight's good for boxing because if it wasn't what they call an exhibition, he'd be disfigured for life. Manny will beat the shit out of him. I don't really like professional boxers doing exhibitions when they fight each other. I don't think it does anything for the sport of boxing, except for his fan base. If they had a real fight with his fan base and Manny Pacquiao's fan base, that's the only reason. That's the only reason it's happening.
Yeah, good point.
Get more people into it. Because Ryan, maybe not in boxing terms. Well, from the casual fan of boxing, he's not a big name, but on Instagram, he's a big name. He's got a big, he's got a big following. He's got a big following on Instagram. He's
8 million followers.
And Manny Pacquiao's name will bring a lot of Manny Pacquiao's fans. And they may get to see a future star in boxing.
Well, let me get this straight then. So he's not, because that rumor that I was hearing was that he was going to fight McGregor in a boxing fight.
But then because he lost against
Conor got knocked out by Dustin Poirier, though.
Yeah, I think that changed the plan. I want to just thank Ricardo Luna for his contribution. He says all the boxers wish they looked like Ryan Garcia instead of having a bell pepper as a nose. And then he says Devin Haney. All right.
Jeez, Louise.
Yeah. Well, you got Ryan Garcia. He he seems to be dodging Devin Haney. He's mandatory for that belt. He seems to fight. He seems to want to fight anybody but Devin Haney. Devin Haney wants to fight Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez seems to want to fight anybody but Devin Haney.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Teofimo, they in negotiations. See, that's why I see y'all keep on hating on Teofimo. He get ready to go whoop Devin Haney little ass. Watch what I tell you.
No one's hating on
Teofimo. I always said I thought Teofimo would beat him.
Yeah, but
who's hating on Teofimo? Who's hating on Teofimo?
He's talking about he don't want Devin. He calling out Devin now that George Cambosos Jr. fight. I don't know, maybe that's fizzled away or something. No, it's just an article that came out, bro.
That's hating. That's hating, I guess. All right, but listen, the point is, I wanted to ask something. This Garcia Pacquiao fight, is it gonna be a charity event or something? Like all the money goes to charity?
Because if it's not happening.
That's what they're talking. That's what they're talking about. That's because it was meant to be Conor McGregor. Now it's meant to be Devin Haney stepping in. And I don't like two active boxers, doing that. I really don't.
It's not even happening.
The promoter
guys.
Robert Diaz, he blocked Sean Gibbons on the Instagram or whatever, the social media. It's not happening.
Yeah. Well, who knows?
More Twitter censorship.
Anyways, let's move on from there. So, where are we going? How do we start this whole thing? Yeah, Ryan.
Well,
he's good for.
With that. Yeah, with Ryan Garcia, whether it's good for boxing or not. See, this question is always a bit difficult to answer
it's
because
not difficult. It's pretty. How can it not be good for boxing?
What I was gonna say, yeah.
Bringing in the casual fan is always, it's always good. It's always good for boxing, right? Because more eyes on the sport, more notoriety. More people buying pay-per-views. That's always good. But when you get people, then you'll have Ryan Garcia fans saying he's the greatest fighter ever, who never really watched the sport before. You know what I mean? And that's going to suck for a couple of years until somebody knocks him out.
But the same thing probably happened with Eloy. I'm pretty sure people. I remember they were saying he was like the next Sugar Ray Leonard in terms of like a great welterweight, and so I mean that comes along with when you're a popular boxer. You start comparing you to somebody in the past. I don't really care about that. That's not really a negative. I think the positives outweigh the negatives, and he's good for boxing.
It just reminded me of that Butch the other day. They were trying to push Jermaine Taylor too. HBO were trying to push Taylor in the mid 2000s as the next big star in boxing, the middleweight, and he ended up getting derailed. But you're right though. Boxing, look. The reason why I say it's complicated is because nothing good, it's not all 100% good. But if Garcia gets that endorsement, you guys are saying the sport's going to be bigger.
We need the casuals, man. We need the casuals. I'm sorry. I don't know.
And we'll bring more casuals to the sport.
Well,
would it bring more casuals to the sport to watch him? And that's it. I mean, that's not good for the sport.
They're going to bleed in. They're going to hold on. Okay, first of all, when we say you gotta get into casuals, there's no one else you can get into the sport.
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense. Well, you're gonna get the hardcores. Why weren't there? I mean, it doesn't make sense. You get my point.
Yeah, I'll bring in some of the casuals. Some of the casuals will watch more than Ryan Garcia, and some will just watch Ryan Garcia. That's just how it's going to be.
That's the way
it's not going to be.
Right? Like I can remember.
It's not
boxing fans being interested. Casual boxing fans being interested in boxing only when Mike Tyson fought. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
But then again, some are going to start, like, I don't know who said it, a caller or somebody in the panel. He said, but Ryan Garcia, now people are going to be looking into, okay, well, who's Tank Davis? He keeps calling him out. Oh, who's Devin Haney? Who else is in the division? Oh, shit, look, Teofimo, he has 3 out of 4 belts. They start getting involved in the sport and doing some research. And not all of the new fans are going to do this, but some of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and that will bring more fans into the sport. The fact is that not every casual that first hooked into a Mike Tyson fight, some of them became boxing fans.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like
Yes.
it turned some people into boxing fans. That's how it's going to be. And some people are just there to watch Mike Tyson.
Of course.
That's
Yeah, and you know what? These guys are not gonna fight at 135. They're gonna fight at welterweight, man. The thing with Mayweather Pacquiao, it got marinated. They overdid it like for 5 years.
Yeah.
Those guys were past their prime. These guys are like 22, 23. So
Hey,
there's no
Gonzalo.
such thing as over marinating because they'll still be in their primes.
It's gonna be like
gonna be a
Mayweather and
dragged-out
Sugar
process.
Shane Gonzalo. It's gonna be like Sugar Shane Mosley and Floyd Mayweather. Remember they were talking about that fight when Floyd was at 130 and Mosley was at 135. That shit never happened, and then finally happened at 147, and Mosley was past his prime.
Yeah.
Let's take a phone call. 206. You're on the air. 206.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
I'm listening to you guys talk about the small guys. There's a bunch of kids at like 135, 140, 130, and I think it could be a golden age. I mean, this is right now. You know, Duran coming and whips them all, right? But people like Garcia and Tank and who else we got? Devin Haney and all these guys. I mean, that's a potential renaissance for boxing right there. But they all think that they're worth $10 million every fight, and it ain't happening.
That's true. That's been a
What do you
problem
think
for a
about that?
while. That's been a problem for a while. You know, boxers asking for a lot of money. But what we haven't had in a while is what you just mentioned, having all these great boxers in the same divisions, around the same weight divisions. What do you guys think? Golden age?
That it depends. It depends on the trainers if the promoters will let them fight each other, right? I don't see Al Heyman and thing releasing the thing on Tank Davis, you know, releasing the reins on Tank Davis, saying you go fight Ryan Garcia and then you go fight Teofimo Lopez, go fight Devin Haney, you know.
Well, yeah, but that's what I say. You know, they might not fight each other. It might be a stalemate, but they'll try to one up each other. Like Teofimo, he fought Lomachenko. Now Ryan, he beat Campbell. The next guy up, he might want to face somebody like Fortuna, and the other guy might one up that guy by fighting like a Nakatani. So they'll pressure each other to fight better opposition because they won't fight each other, but they'll try to outdo each other.
That's a good point. There's this competition.
That sucks.
Yeah, but then when you get
everybody
hold
wants to be famous on Instagram and drive a Lamborghini, but they don't want to do the fights.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what it's about. Everybody wants to take a photo of their new Benz and throw it on Bagatron, whatever the social media thing is, but they don't want to actually be great fighters. They just want to get the rewards for it.
Well, caller, Teofimo Lopez, he's like 23. He already fought Lomachenko, so that's a good step forward.
No,
and then,
right? Yeah, I mean, there's hope, but they're encouraged to be the other way by social media itself.
Well, no, social media wants these guys to fight the best. I mean,
no, social media just wants them to make noise. Social media wants them to claim greatness and all of this crap. They don't really care. Social media as an entity doesn't care. It's all about generating views, right? They don't care if the fights actually happen.
Right, but I mean the fans. Go ahead, recognize.
I agree with him. I was just gonna say I like this caller. He's right.
Well, wait a minute.
No, when it comes to social media, they don't care if they fight.
Who's social media then? I'm confused. Isn't it the fans? The people writing comments in their
social media. Social media. I'm talking about the technology itself and who runs it.
Okay, well now I don't know what to say to that. I mean,
and he's right about that because Instagram won't kick. They're not going to kick Ryan Garcia off if he doesn't fight Teofimo. As long as he's got I don't know how many followers, they're more than happy to have him there.
Yeah, I think it's 9 million followers.
Right.
So
okay,
you know.
but they're gonna. Well, okay, well,
they don't care what he does as long as he gets the views, right? As long as he sells the advertising.
Well, how is he gonna get the views if he's not fighting anybody?
By talking.
He was getting views.
I mean,
that can only take you so far. That can only take you so far.
I want to fight like Spence and Crawford. Neither of them really want to fight. because the money's not really there. I mean, they think they should get $20 million apiece for that fight.
Yeah, but they don't have followers to begin with.
Sugar Ray and Hagler?
Yeah, but they don't have followers to begin
not
with.
yet. They could be. Potentially they are.
They
Maybe
don't have any
better.
followers.
But the great fighters require great epic rivalries, and they're not doing it. What they think is they deserve the money without going through the epic rivalry.
I mean,
Dude,
Well, that's true for the case of fighters like Errol Spence and Crawford, 30 and 34, but not these guys.
I mean, can we judge? Hold on. I'm sounding like a Ryan Garcia fanboy and Teofimo. These guys are in their
fanboy.
They're 23, 22, 21. Like I think Tank's 25 now. So we gotta give them some time. We see, then we can judge them. We can judge them now. I'll tell you what. Like Gonzalo said, you can judge Spence and Crawford if you want. They're like in their 30s now. That's fine, man. But I don't think we should be judging these guys yet.
Yeah. When you got the PBC promoting Leo Santa Cruz like a #1 contender, like a world class opponent for Tank Davis, people are gonna eat that shit up. Let's be real. They promoted Leo Santa Cruz like he was a big massive to Tank Davis.
Like he was a threat to Tank Davis. He was no fucking threat.
Yeah, they promoted him like he was a threat to Tank Davis.
Brian,
when knowledgeable boxing fans said he would get knocked out in the first 6th round.
Caller, doesn't it give you hope that Ryan Garcia at such a young age already fought Luke Campbell, and then Teofimo at 22? Yeah, he fought Lomachenko.
So much hope.
Do you have hope?
Hope. I would like to make that statement. Teofimo is running his mouth and asking for, I saw the thing with Tyson the other day. God, Tyson was so fucked up.
Yeah.
And, he's asking for Devin Haney, and Devin Haney's talking shit back. I think that camp are one of the ones that, like, they're just trying to cash in and with the least risk possible. I think they're one of the guilty. But Teofimo and also Ryan Garcia now asking for Pacquiao, who he probably can't yet handle. And there's still enough of Pacquiao left that it's probably a bad thing for him. But that's a big-ass risk, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's going to go with Pacquiao, like should have been done a while ago. Right?
It's an exhibition fight. Yeah.
And I give him credit for that. But so there is hope in this newest generation. But like the thing with Crawford, and I'm a huge Crawford fan. I love Bud Crawford. I think he's the reincarnation of Marvin Hagler.
Stop lying.
But dude, Bud is awesome. But I like him. I favor him over Spence and everybody else. But the thing is, they both have overinflated ideas of what they're worth in terms of a spectacle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I agree.
In my opinion.
Anything else, caller?
That's all I had. But I think that the what's his name? Precision. One of the panels.
Precision.
Oh yeah, Precise Presenter.
Precise.
I think you're having a toddy. So if you are, I chin to you because I am too.
I think it's the only thing I recognize.
Recognize. There you
Me
go.
and him sound nothing alike. I don't understand how people are confusing us.
Because
Precise sounds like Richard Ramirez. Nice talk.
Totally my fault. Chin.
All right.
You know what I think it is? You know what I think it is?
I'm not mad at you. I'm just two people called and said, "Oh, it's recognized."
Well, I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what I think. I'll tell you.
I listen to you all the time, right? I should know you recognize. Sorry.
What the fuck?
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
I'll tell you what I think. I'll tell you what I think it is. I think it's the ice at the end. Recognize, precise. I think that's what sets people off a little bit there.
Yeah, that's why
the
it's confusing.
Recognize.
I think you're precisely correct.
Caller, thanks for calling. Take care.
Yep, 99, fellas.
All right, good call. Good call.
Did he say 99?
I think so.
So hey, recognize. So you're hating on Ryan Garcia?
He is. So
go drink some haterade.
Hey, by the way, I drank Powerade once or twice. It was the mango and mango flavor was delicious, and the watermelon flavor was delicious. I said, you know what? Now I understand why people drink that all the time. But Gatorade, for some reason, I don't know what type of formula they use, but it's not.
It's like Kool-Aid.
Huh?
It's like Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it's watered down Kool-Aid or something.
It tastes like a bad Kool-Aid. Like when somebody makes the Kool-Aid, but they didn't put enough sugar in it. Like, man, it tastes like shit.
It's got sugar and salt. It's got sugar and salt so you can hydrate. That's what.
Yeah, I mean, that's a scam, by the way. I heard that they did a study where if you drank.
The first time I ever drank bad Kool-Aid, man, I was upset. I was like, honestly, really
one word. Electrolytes.
Electrolytes, yeah.
What the fuck is that? Fuck! All right.
But you know what? I read that Gatorade and water, they did a study where they made people drink Gatorade and water, like the same workout and all that. And water was essentially the same thing, man. That it's a scam, essentially, the whole. And I went,
it's a scam.
Listen, man,
electrolytes are bullshit, media.
Well, they had the same results according to the study, and by the way, the Gatorade has sugar. So all these people that are working, oh yeah, I'm losing weight. You're drinking a bunch of fucking sugar. Might as well drink a Pepsi.
When I lived in the projects, I had the tap water there was fantastic, bro.
From Flint, Michigan, you mean the explosive exploit
water?
Man,
in Queens,
right.
The tap water in the projects was fantastic.
It's a nice vintage.
I'm telling you, man. I'm not. Ask anybody. Project water in New York. The water is crispy cold or hot all day.
That's a slogan. That's a slogan they use in New York. Hot all day. All right, listen.
It has also got salt, BDA. Salt makes you retain water. So that ain't that good for cutting weight either for boxers.
You're absolutely right. It's interesting though, because once we get down to this whole thing about the Mike Tyson podcast too, I didn't see it yet, the one with Teofimo Lopez. I heard people say
it was high like a motherfucker.
Yeah, I heard they got rid of a co-host there, and people are complaining because for some reason they love I've never really gotten into the Mike Tyson podcast, man, because Tyson's just not that. He's not that entertaining. He's zoned out. He's on weed most of the time, eating peanuts on the microphone, so you hear him chewing on peanuts all the time. This guy, it's not that entertaining, man.
No. Everybody's always kissing his ass. Everybody that goes on there, oh, Mike Tyson, you're my hero. I mean, he is a legend and everything.
Who the fuck are you, man? Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you to fucking tell me how I feel? Fuck you, man.
I want the old Mike Tyson back. I don't know about you guys. I want the old Mike Tyson back, man. I want him to go ape shit. Start like, come on.
But isn't that true though? Everybody's always buttering him up. It's the same
maybe a mixture. Maybe a mixture. 1 minute he's so mellow, next minute.
Yeah, 50-50. Yeah,
make it out mixable,
35-65. I'll take it.
He's entertaining in short
interviews.
A lot
longer than most people thought he was going to live. Let's be honest, right? There was a point where we were like, all right, this dude's going to get killed or he's going to kill himself. One or two.
Yeah, plus he's getting older. He's declining cognitively. He's probably just a little slower. Kind of like Joe Biden, no?
He's 50 too. You act like he's fucking 80 or something.
He's a boxer too, though. Boxers.
Did you guys ever hear the rumor about Mike Tyson? Did you guys ever hear the rumor about Mike Tyson putting out a hit on some dude in Brooklyn?
No, I didn't hear that one.
When?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a rumor. It's nothing confirmed, but like
I wouldn't be surprised.
There was a guy that used to date. You remember the rapper Little Kim, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So this dude was from Brooklyn. He was like, supposedly he was like killing motherfuckers. And a guy that used to bodyguard Mike Tyson, who was another killer, supposedly they had some beef. And it was like, tit for tat. I kill one of your people, you kill one of mine. And they killed that guy. When they killed that guy, Tyson put a hit on that dude. And he put a hit on Tyson.
Is this what he said when he was caught?
Well, come on. It's just all in fun, guys.
But you know what, man?
Go ahead, BD.
I was gonna say when that little Kim Crew guy went up to Mike Tyson, you think he would have said, "Can I get a drop?" Yo, I need a drop. You remember?
What?
Well, because we were watching a video. What's the name of that guy again? Charlemagne the God.
Charlemagne,
I saw the video.
You know why he got scared, right? You know why he had those eyes. You know what a drop means, right? Can I get that drop? That's usually what dudes do in the East Coast, especially in New York. Can I get that drop? And then they shoot you.
Oh.
Yeah. That's why he did that face. He was like, "Oh shit."
Oh.
That's why. That's why my
he ran.
ex-wife. That's why my ex-wife always used to say that. And I didn't catch it, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, BDA. It's like that Desiree Washington incident. That was probably not true, and he said it. I mean, he got convicted, but he also said that he didn't do that, but he did some other things like that were way worse than that he didn't get caught for. So that was Mike Tyson. That was his not excuse, but his explanation to when they asked him if he was guilty about the Desiree incident.
That's the girl in Indianapolis, right?
Desiree Washington, yes.
Yeah.
He didn't do that, but he says, I've done way worse things. I've done like 10 more way worse things than that.
Yeah, that's the thing that it's interesting because we're talking about Tyson and we were talking about Ryan Garcia earlier as well. And I mentioned that earlier in the podcast about how Mike Tyson, I remember the magazines, they would go like, oh, Mike, when he was talking about eating children and all that, the magazines, the boxing magazines and the tabloids also, they were like, oh, Mike Tyson goes on a rampage, blah, blah. But they kept giving him publicity, which, and again, that's the culture we live in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Could you imagine that Mike Tyson in social media if, he was around the social media age?
Yeah, going ape shit like that, he would make it though. And going back
like
to what
it would be all the freaking time though. Like every time
he would sell out the yin yang.
Yeah.
Every time his temper dropped, it would be all over social media.
Yeah,
even Julio Cesar Chavez said they're friends. They grew up around the same era. I mean, he used to fight in his undercard. That when he was around Mike Tyson, he was a scary cat. And
no shit.
Yeah. That's what Julio Cesar Chavez said.
I was gonna say that what Mr. BDA was saying about when remember when Mike Tyson was in that circus tour after the Holyfield fight, he was fighting in the UK and all that shit, and all these magazines, they kept putting Mike Tyson in the front cover, even though he wasn't a champion or anything. And I remember even one magazine had like a title, "Please Mike, go away." Yeah, they want him to go away, but yet you're putting him in the front cover of the magazine. Like they love that shit. Yeah, completely. Yeah, but they love the guy.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
they're hypocrites, man. The mainstream media, they're a bunch of hypocrites. They'll say, "Oh, this guy sucks." But look, listen.
Sell,
at the end,
he would sell. That's the thing, and he was good for boxing, like it or not, man. Like again, I go. Well, anyways, I don't want to talk about Floyd anymore.
Hey, it would sell me, but look, listen. At the end of the day, who knows? Sometimes why people. But that's the thing, though. At the end of the day, who really knows why some people become famous? Because look, Mike Tyson, when he was in his prime in the late 80s, he was knocking people out. He captured something about him. Also, because there's several layers to why somebody becomes famous. A, he was a heavyweight. B, he was knocking everybody out, undefeated. He had this aura of invincibility, and then he had that extra factor too of being the youngest at that time heavyweight champion of the world, or titleist, I should say. All of that created a mystique around him that still to this day, every time he goes on a podcast or something, people always have to start with whether it's a professional wrestler or a guy in another sport or box. Whatever.
He's possibly one of the greatest fighters that ever did it. It's because, he lost. Of course he lost, man. He was fucking fighting dudes much bigger than him. Eventually you keep fighting those guys, they're going to beat you. But like in terms of his skill set and how he captured like boxing fans, you got to be one of the greatest to do. You can't be just a gimmick. Mike Tyson was more than that. Mike Tyson was more than a gimmick.
Hey guys, is it more difficult to become popular now in boxing? Because I'm thinking about Mike Tyson. I don't want to take anything away from the guy. Like you said, he was a monster in the ring. He was a heavyweight. He was knocking people out. But also, you got to take into account that he was fighting in the late 80s and boxing was huge back then. And so...
Yes, it was. Yeah.
But now... Yeah.
Yeah, Bucho.
But like, is it more difficult now for a fighter to like transcend the sport because it's not, you're not fighting on network television anymore. So to stand out, you really gotta take it to another level. Go ahead.
Some of these Mike Tyson haters will be like, "Oh, who did Mike Tyson fought? He fought all the top guys at heavyweight at that time. That's who he fought. He fought all of them. Yeah. And he fucked up.
Big Mike Tyson beats anybody. He beats. Do you telling me that a big Mike Tyson during that 5-year reign, he doesn't knock out a Joshua? Couldn't knock out a Klitschko?
He might have knocked him out. Yeah, as big as Joshua is, he probably still would have knocked him out.
Vitali?
But you know what? The one that no. Well, actually, see this is the thing. For example, some people say, like, I was listening to Joe Rogan. He was saying like, oh yeah, I think Tyson butchers Ali. I'm thinking Ali hit harder than most people expected. He looked like he was slapping, but did you look at the guys' faces after the fight?
He knocks him out.
6'3", 215 pounds. Of course he hits hard. You know?
Exactly, yeah. But you know what? As for the Mike Tyson thing, he captured the imagination of people, but he burned out quick though. See, that's the thing about boxing. It's easy.
90 seconds. Jail. Come on.
Remember, I want you to remember this. He turned pro in 1984, like right after the Olympics. The Summer Olympics. He turned pro, and by the time 1986 rolled around, so in late 1984. By the time 1986 rolled around, the man had over 20 fights.
Right.
So
see, that's the thing.
In 1 year, he fought like 15 times.
But that's the thing, though. See, it's easy. It's not easy, but it's to get to the top. To get to the top of a division, it's not that uncommon. There's always going to be some guy that's better than the rest. But to stay there and beat everybody, and I'm not just talking one, because nowadays that's what they do. One guy beats one or two contenders, and like, all right, move up now. It's like, wait a minute, there's always somebody new coming up that's trying to challenge you to take your spot. So that's why that's an interesting discussion too about, well, what do you respect more? A guy that's weight hopping several divisions, or a guy who stays in one division and cleans it up? Now, of course, that's dependent upon the opposition that's available in said
Mike
division.
Tyson captured the mind of everybody across the world. They watched him. The reason why, right? If you're from America and you come from a tough area, you know that Mike Tyson's the kind of guy that could clean you, like that will wipe out a whole neighborhood, right? If you're watching from overseas, you know that this is the kind of guy that if he touches your chin, there's a good chance he'll break it. That's the
recognize. I don't know what type of bitch ass neighborhood you live in, but in my neighborhood, he'd have a problem. Believe me, man.
You know, also a lot of people had their hand in the cookie jar. A lot of invested interest in him. He was a troubled child with a lot of going on, the women, a lot of scandals, right? And look, Teofimo has one bad performance against Nakatani while I had a little fight with my girlfriend and I had a little family dispute with my dad. Imagine Mike Tyson, everything that was going on around him. Five years in the fame, and he didn't last a long time because of that.
He went to jail. He had a lot of new money, you know.
But see, that's what I'm trying to get at here with the whole staying on top thing, because there's always going to be something coming up. It might be your significant other starts whispering in your ear, or maybe you get into a fight with your significant other and you start having a bad marriage. Could be friends, entourage, could be drugs, could be alcohol, could be just laziness. There's always something that's going to prevent these guys from staying on top, and it's not everybody that can stay on top. And Tyson, obviously, he had way too many parasites around him too. That was just
he was too young. The model died, and that just pretty much started like sealing the deal for him.
Right.
Hey guys, I'm gonna end the show. Keep it short and tight.
That's right.
Short and tight.
That's the word we like. Is short and tight.
This show's getting gay with like the whole Ryan Garcia talk, man.
I'm thirsty. I'm gonna go buy some Gatorade right now.
Oh, God.
But look at all these dirty fucking lesbians!
Alright, what the hell is that sound?
Alright, Butcher, what the fuck? Was that StreamYard, man?
No, I don't know. That was Recognize the Matrix.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
Oh,
he's
echoing.
echoing.
Some more Illuminati shit. What you were talking about a few weeks ago. Gatorade. The Thunderbolt
Okay,
in the middle.
would you stop it with that? Was second Renaissance when we're talking about the
but
gay?
You said, when Ryan Garcia came out with those commercials, that it was kind of weird. Remember
which?
He did a program, something that you said that Ryan Garcia, when he said he had a dream and whatnot. Remember?
I forget, man. I made fun of that guy so much.
That they were promoting him in a certain way.
Oh yeah. No. We're talking about that he did the best 5 minutes of my life or something, where he was talking about how. Yeah, that was weird. That was bizarre, and it was cringe, man. I didn't like it.
Yeah, see, I pay attention.
Yeah, I know you do, man. You got the discipline from the army, man. It never left you. That's
hey, people, hit the like button. Come on, what the hell's going on here?
Hit the
like. Go! Come on!
Drop
Go!
Yeah, go ahead.
Try to get a super chat.
Drop
the killer
kiss.
super chat.
Yeah, man.
That's a classic, man. I gotta give him props. That's fucking funny as fuck.
Johnny Boy.
I'm just disgusted that you.
Johnny Boy came out with a hit with that one.
I'm just disgusted.
Yeah, shout out to Johnny, by the way.
I'm just disgusted that you.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next
gentlemen.
time.
Peace.
Peace. Peace.
Peace.
Hit the like button, you cunts.
You're a fucking cunt. You're a fucking cunt.
Disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in everyone. Totally. Disappointed in everyone.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in everyone. Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be alright, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot. Let's just kill those fucking men.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. Lomito! You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.